Isn't bowing embarrassing objectively? Hello, I'm Nataro. In the realm of politeness, which is generally appreciated by foreigners, there's a Japanese custom known as Ojigi, or bowing. While bowing is a worldwide gesture of respect, Japan stands out with its diverse bowing styles used for various purposes. This time, on behalf of Japanese individuals who don't seem to contemplate their own culture, I will share how bowing can be perceived as a rather inferior cultural practice. We will proceed with the following protocol. What is Ojigi? Why Ojigi is the worst differences from bowing in other cultures. No thought behind it, just self-satisfaction. Examples of exceptional bowing by foreigners. Let's use our brains, Japanese people. What is Ojigi? Ojigi, a bowing gesture, is said to have originated around 1,400 years ago when Japan incorporated Chinese etiquette. By lowering one's head, it signifies goodwill and respect towards the other party. There are 3 common angles of bowing, 15, 30, and 45 degrees, each expressing varying degrees of respect and thanks. In Western culture, a handshake is used to confirm that one does not carry weapons and has become a common form of greeting. Why Ojigi is the worst? While a handshake signifies an equal relationship, Ojigi can be seen as a declaration of surrender. It involves averting one's gaze and exposing the most vital part, the head, which leaves one vulnerable to attack. Some may even have to reveal their bald spots. It's similar to a dog exposing its belly. While it may be endearing in dogs, it comes across as pitiable when humans do it. Additionally, during an Ojigi, it's impossible to confirm if the other party is reciprocating the bow. It's not an act of building trust mutually, but rather an act of lowering one's own value unilaterally. However, there is an aspect in which it surpasses handshakes. Since you don't need to touch the other person, there's no contact with bodily fluids, and the potential for the transmission of pathogens is low, making it more hygienic. Differences from bowing in other cultures. Bowing exists in European and Islamic cultures as well. In Christianity, bowing is seen as a sign of respect and submission, such as when passing the altar or when the name of Jesus Christ is mentioned. It is a way to show reverence to God. In Islam, bowing deeply toward Mecca signifies absolute devotion. In contrast, in Judaism, the second commandment, "You shall not make for yourself an idol," is interpreted as prohibiting bowing to anything other than God. In essence, bowing to people is not a common practice. No thought behind it. In religion, God is to be revered. But in Japan, people bow even to those they do not hold in high regard, including strangers they meet for the first time. Do you think they do this with heartfelt intention? How strong must one's mental fortitude and compassion be? Japanese people typically grow up in controlled groups under the government and society's influence. They learn to conform to the expectations of teachers and classmates, fearing judgment, and only allowing uniform behaviors. Expressing one's own opinion is suppressed, and living in accordance with the prevailing atmosphere becomes the norm. In such an environment, bowing is the best way to accommodate others. It signals, "I am not your enemy, so please don't attack me." This submissive mentality becomes commonplace through habit. There is neither respect nor a sense of self-worth in these actions. It is simply a reflexive lowering of the head. Just self-satisfaction. Some Japanese individuals have a propensity to bow compulsively, believing it to be a virtuous act regardless of the recipient. They are convinced that it is a great thing. The recipient's feelings are irrelevant. They impose their own desires onto others. This behavior is fundamentally different from acts like handshakes, which require the involvement of both parties and signify mutual respect. It reflects Japan's exclusive nature, exemplified by the fact that Japan did not readily admit foreigners into the country until its defeat in World War II. Examples of outstanding bowing by foreigners. Bowing is often considered an entrance to communication, but it is meaningless without genuine sincerity. During the 2019 Rugby World Cup, foreign players' bows towards Japanese fans dressed in all-black uniforms, particularly during the New Zealand vs. South Africa match, were widely praised. The New Zealand players showed deep gratitude by performing a 90-degree bow, conveying their respect for Japan and appreciation for Japanese fans. This was a genuine act born out of heartfelt emotions. Let's use our heads, Japanese people. In many Japanese companies, employees are coerced into bowing in the direction where the customer has left until they are out of sight. It must be done even if there is no gratitude. Do employees find this burdensome? Not really, because they don't question orders from their superiors and don't think for themselves. When heartless bowing becomes prevalent, there are those who adopt an attitude of just bow and it's fine. Those who receive insincere bows become angry, saying, "There's no sincerity." However, since those individuals themselves are also offering heartless bows, they have no right to judge others. In conclusion, it seems that we Japanese people need to consider the meaning of bowing as an objective and universal criterion within ourselves. Furthermore, in many cases, politeness is demonstrated slowly to the other person. In other words, it leads to taking up the other person's valuable time. Being subjected to self-indulgent acts can be frustrating. Let's take this video as a lesson, and even those of us who have grown up in a society where we are controlled like robots should use our heads a bit more.